People who declined a proposal. Why did you do it? He asked me randomly when on a night out when we weren't even dating, just friends. I thought he was joking, but then he came over the next day to ask what my feelings were. I had to say I didn't think of him that way, and it was awkward for a while. I was fresh out of high school and dating a guy in the military that I went to school with. We had been dating about 3 months when he proposed. He was nice, and I could have seen a future with him, but 3 months was just too soon for me. Even though we had been friends for quite some time, I told him I wasn't ready and he never spoke to me again. I was 15, he was 17. I wasn't ready. I liked him a lot but wasn't ready to plan a life with any one person at that age. There was a guy at my high school prom that proposed to his girlfriend in the middle of the dance floor. Low by Flo Rida was playing. She said no. Shorty said no. His esteem got low. He literally only proposed because I caught him cheating. He thought I would say yes. OMG, of course. I forgive you. Please, continue to cheat on me after we both sign a legally binding contract. Dude was dumb. Proposed to my college girlfriend when I was 20 and she was 21. We had been dating for a year and she got pregnant. I thought we were in love because everything was great and I genuinely loved her. I had a great job and so I proposed because I wanted to marry her and start a family. She then broke down and started crying. She told me she had been sleeping with her ex-boyfriend for the past month. She then said that she didn't know who the baby belonged to, so went and got an abortion without consulting me or him. She got back together with him and I spiraled into alcoholism for the next few years. I'm about to turn 30 now. Went back to college 2 years ago and no longer use drugs or alcohol, besides weed sometimes. I'm starting life over again at 30 after all that, and having to take care of my grandfather who had a stroke. Life is weird. Well, he proposed as I was breaking up with him, which was awkward, and for some reason he thought it would make me change my mind. Also, he had threatened to kill my family the day before, hence the breakup. So there's that. Edit. Thanks for the kind words, everyone. At the time, this was my first relationship and I was very naive. I was 19 and he was 20. And we had dated for roughly 5-6 months. I'm now in a very happy, stable, and healthy relationship. When he asked, my future flashed in front of me and I hated it. He was a good guy and I did love him, but we wanted different things. We had been together for many years, but the proposal was still a surprise. I think he proposed to try and save a sinking relationship. It was our first date. He showed up drunk and called me somebody else's name. Wow, nailed it. I thought my ex had anger management issues, and I didn't get along with his mother. He was too attached to her. He later became a violent alcoholic. Years after we broke up, he also stole quite a bit of money from me to give to his mother for bills. I was not aware of this until months after the fact. I feel like I dodged a huge bullet there. I was 16 and about to move to California with my grandma and away from my abusive household. Dude I was dating asked me to marry him and I told him no because I knew moving would give me better opportunities than the shitty small town I was living in. I felt suffocated in that town and needed to work on myself after being abused by my parents. OMG. I can answer this one in true Reddit fashion. Not me, boo it. A co-worker of mine, happily married for a good long while, told me that the only man she dated before her husband was obsessed with her and pursued her even after she broke up with him and had proposed multiple times before and after they broke up. He just had this unhealthy obsession with her for some reason. The last time he proposed to her was the day before her wedding to her husband. She of course turned him down, and he finally moved on and married a different girl. I told her jokingly that he sounded unhinged and she really dodged a bullet there. She went quiet for a moment and then said, "Well, he killed the woman he did end up marrying." He was that weird stoner patron that came in just to talk to me even though I wasn't interested. He told me he was the heir to the Commonwealth and should be king after Elizabeth dies, because he had the 3 out of the emblems of the United Kingdom, and once he got the 4th it would secure his position. He would also make airplane noises when I had my attention turned to other tasks. That's a no, Jason. My mother was engaged to a man while she was in college. The wedding plans were well underway, and as the wedding got closer, her fiancé started acting super clingy and possessive. She called it off a few months before getting married. He has lived locally their whole lives, so she's run into him a few times. Apparently he's the super jealous type who doesn't let his wives have male friends, and he has been married 3 times. My mom definitely dodged a bullet. My ex-girlfriend declined when I proposed a couple years ago. It was surprising because we had discussed marriage before and she said that she wanted me to propose. I even got her father's blessing before he passed away and proposed to her surrounded only by close friends, family, and funeral home staff. I feel like I did everything right, but sometimes that isn't enough, I guess. He was pissed as a newt and we had only been dating a year. 10 years later he did it properly. We'd been married 6 years. Got asked in college by a close female friend. We weren't dating. I hadn't ever felt an attraction to her, and I knew she just wanted a husband more than she wanted me. The actual person 100% yikes. I was 12, he was 46. Plus it was over Instagram DMS, which is so unromantic. Yes, officer. Go talk to this one here. My friends thought I was being petty, but I refused my college boyfriend's proposal because he wanted to be a cop in the gang unit. I just couldn't bear having to worry about him being a cop among gangs, gang revenge against cops and their families, etc. Edit. Said boyfriend became a cop in a large city, married, kids, and made detective at 35. Friend college roommate who was most vocal about me breaking up with said boyfriend was the same person who, when I was getting a divorce after a difficult and sad marriage when I was 30, said that I should stick with it because my husband wasn't an alcoholic or violent. Those two are friends to this day. My husband proposed 1 month into dating. I declined because, 1 month. A year later we moved in together and he proposed and I declined because I wasn't ready. Almost 3 years later and 2 more declined proposals, I said yes on the 4th time. I finally felt ready. We have been married 11 years. In retrospect, his instincts were probably better than mine. Turns out you can't legally marry yourself. Madness, I know. You said no to yourself. Because she was like 30 years younger than I was, and I already married to her mother, who gave birth to her 5 years ago. I love her 3000, so there's that. I was in high school, she had schizophrenia, and I wasn't a lesbian. Also we weren't dating. I dated a very conservative guy for a brief second who didn't believe in gay marriage. Then he asked me to marry him. No edit. I'm a man. He was a stranger on the bus to the city. He said he'd give me an entire closet of clothing if I married him. ID sign clause, he said. He wanted a green card. I asked why not money. He said he didn't have any. I told him no thanks. He said okay, looked forward at the seat ahead and sighed. Then immediately swiveled his head back at me. I've asked if I had any sisters. Another sigh. My abusive girlfriend tried to get me to marry her. Then, she beat me with a chair for slightly overcooking the Thanksgiving turkey. Yeah, turns out that beating somebody so bad that you break their arm is a good way to get your proposal turned down. I was casually dating a guy in a rock band. He just knew he was going to make it big and be a rock star. And I always thought he was a little bit crazy, but heck, it was all fun and games because I was young and that's what I was looking for. I loved to follow his band and dance the night away on weekends, partying with my friends in whatever nightclub he was playing. A great way to forget about school and studying for a few hours. When he popped the question, I was so surprised I burst out laughing. I was 22 years old, just graduated from college and was about to start my career. I was starting an internship and was leaving the country for a year, and he asked me on bended knee while I was literally packing my suitcases. He figured I was giving him an ultimatum and was threatening to leave him unless he finally broke down and offered to marry him. It was especially odd because we had never spoken about being together in the future, and I had never even introduced him to my family. His proposal was so unexpected and inappropriate. I simply asked him to leave my apartment and promised I'd send him a postcard from Europe. I couldn't get that door closed behind him fast enough. Gorgeous 19-year-old girl I worked with. We had been a little flirtatious with each other but were just close work friends. I was under 25. She got knocked up by a guy she wasn't dating seriously. She was opposed to abortion so was planning to keep the baby but wanted to end it with that guy. She took me aside and slowly and seriously proposed marriage with me. Her rationale being that we loved each other even though we were just friends and that I would be a wonderful father, so we should give it a shot. She was sincere, but seeing as her proposal was insane, though oddly tempting, I said no. She married the father of her child shortly after. They're still married, going on 20 years now. Only one child, so I suppose I said no because I was a young man and that wasn't my child. I do wonder what would have happened if I'd said yes, but that would have been insane, right?